How are you doing, everyone? I trust you've been safe and well and training hard. So we're focusing in on that diet still, especially for the shred. You know, we need to focus on foods that have anti-inflammatory properties. You know, tomatoes are another great one to have as well. High in vitamin C. It's a great all-well-round dish. There we go, got it out that time. So today I'm going to show you how to make traditional pasta sauce. Now, you know, if you grew up making pasta sauce, you know, you would have grown heaps of Roma tomatoes in the backyard or picked up, you know, punnets, or not punnets, those boxes, and made them at home. We live in a time where you can make this all year round. There's no real need to do massive batches over days. You can still do it if you want and keep them in the garage, but I tend to make it as I use it. Given the price of pasta sauce at the supermarket now being $5 to $6 a bottle, you can make it yourself a lot cheaper, full of flavor, better taste, and just better for you. There's no preservatives. I picked up some Roma tomatoes. You can make these with gourmet tomatoes as well. Today we're using Roma tomatoes. This was $3.50 a kilo. You know, growing up used to be $2.50 a box. So prices have gone up a fair bit. But what you're looking for with your Roma tomatoes, you don't want to use fresh tomatoes. You actually want to buy them and let them sit for a week to ripen up. Pop them in the sun if you want to dry out a bit and get a bit more juicy. But they're a great way to have, well, they're great use. The other thing you're going to need is one of these machines. These are great. I bought this many years ago. You can get electric ones. Hand ones are fine as well. This will give us one night's meal, and it's a great sort of process anyway. It's great. I usually do this with my daughter. She loves it. It's awesome. And when you involve kids in the process of making food, they're more likely to eat it as well. So let's get to the first step. All right, so what we're doing here is that we're gonna cut off the green bit of the tomato because that can be quite bitter. And we're just gonna slice them in half, just like that. And you can see, because they're sat for a week, they've quite ripened up, so they're pretty good. Some of them probably got a little bit of, you know, mold growing on them, but that's fine. You just cut off that mold. And you also look for any blemishes on the actual tomato itself, and you want to remove them. These tomatoes are actually pretty good. They've ripened up. I got these from Woodley Fresh, the grocer there. They've got great, cheap, affordable produce. I tend to go there quite often. Love the eggs. You get the eggs for about, you know, 30 eggs. Is it 30 eggs? I don't know, there's a fair bit of eggs for like 15 bucks. So shout out to them. So as you can see, we're just cutting the tomatoes, popping them in the water, and that'll allow us to move to the next step. All right, now that they're all cut up and popped in the water, we're gonna put some salt in here. And we're gonna pop this on the stove for about 10 to 15 minutes just to soften the tomatoes and make it easy to pass through the machine and increase that flavor. Alright, so as you can see, the tomatoes have now come to the boil. The skin's starting to peel off and that water's starting to go red, which indicates these tomatoes are now ready to come off the stove and be strained. You don't want to overcook them, otherwise it'll just fill with water and you'll lose all that, you know, rich tomato flavor. So let's strain this and let them cool, and then we'll pass them through our machine. Now, as you can see, it's still quite hot, but the tomatoes have gone nice and soft. They've fallen off. Bit warm there. So what we want to do is let them cool down, let them sit in here for a little bit, and then we'll pass them through the machine. It's important to get as much water out as possible because it will impact the amount of water in your sauce. You don't want a watery sauce. It just doesn't taste as good and doesn't bond with the meat when cooking. So this next part can get a bit messy, and it's a great fun thing to do. I do it with the kids. Kids love doing it. But all you're going to do, and it's really simple, just pop the tomatoes. Now that they've cooled down, they're still a bit warm, but they've cooled down a bit. But as you can see, they're nice and soft and the skin peels off easy. Pop them straight into your machine like that. And then let's just start spinning. Now you can buy electric machines, but you know, is it worth it? Unless you're doing a big batch, it's probably not worth it. This does the trick really well. As you can see, it separates the skins from the tomato sauce. And because we've let it dry out and sit and cool down, that sauce is nice and thick. It's going to be a wonderful pasta tonight, bolognese. Now the trick here is to pass it through again. There's still quite a lot of meat, or you know, we'll call it meat, whatever you want to call it, on the tomato. That's what we always used to call it. And we'll go through again. So you want to just keep going until probably 2 or 3 times is enough. It's pretty much once all that flesh is off the skin and in our bowl. So as you can see there, and I'll hold that up so you can see it a bit better. We've got our skins there and our pasta sauce there. Absolutely beautiful. It's fresh. You know, can't get better than that. Now let's go make our pasta. So when it comes to making a traditional pasta sauce, less ingredients, the better. So your main star of this is the pork and the tomato. Obviously the garlic and the onion and the basil that I'm going to put in will add flavor. But your main thing is you don't want to overcomplicate things. You know, so I see a lot of people putting carrots and this and that into it, and it changes the flavor. By all means, go ahead, do it if that's how you get veggies into your kids. But you're probably doubling up on things that you don't really need to, because your tomato base is full of vitamin C, anti-inflammatories, you know, all that good stuff that will help. You know, so let's get cooking this pasta. So the first thing we put into our pot is our onion, and we want to brown our onions. So give them a bit of a simmer. So once our onions are translucent, we pop in our garlic, give it a bit of a stir for about 30 seconds so it becomes nice and fragrant. And then in goes our pork mince. I get my pork from Tasman Meats out in Melton or Deer Park. I find Tasman Meats has really good mince with full flavour. Just something about it makes it taste better. We're doing a bit of salt. Now we're going to break this up and mix it through. So as you can see, we've broken it up, mixed it around, it's starting to cook. And now on to the next stage. Now that our meat is cooked, this next step is really important. We're going to use tomato paste, because this helps thicken up the sauce and adds flavour. So, you know, a good heap in there. And then you want to mix it through so that all the meat's gone red. All right, so we've now moved to a smaller burner because we're going to need a lower temperature. We pop our sauce into here like that. Now we're going to add a cup of water as well, because this helps soften the meat and cook right through. And now to take away some of the bitterness of the tomato, we're going to pop in a tablespoon of sugar. And now we add our basil. So basil goes really good with tomato, gives out that full flavour. And let's give it a bit of a mix. And the aroma of this is absolutely amazing currently. This is going to taste beautiful tonight. And look at that colour. You'll find that when you buy tomato sauce from the shop, it's this real bright red colour from all the preservatives and dyes they use, because people are used to seeing red for tomatoes. And what you actually find is that actual tomatoes, when you make it, it's more of an orange colour rather than a red. So if they put tomato sauce on the shelves that was more of a natural orange, you're less likely to buy it. You're always going to buy the redder sauce, and that comes when you're buying your tomatoes. So when you go to pick your tomatoes from, you know, the shelves, you always go for the darkest red because they're full flavour. But when you're making traditional foods like this, it's more of an orangey colour. All right, so now that it's on the boil, we reduce the heat to a low, and we're just going to pop the lid and let this simmer for about 45 minutes to an hour. All right, sorry about the messy stove. My sauce has come out. Now, pasta water is actually also an ingredient. So you want about a cup of pasta water, and you pop that into your sauce. Let's put a little bit more in actually. Now this is the secret ingredient. And now let's kick this on. So this is ready. It's been ready for a little while. I just started cooking my pasta. but you just want to pop that in there. Let's give it a mix around. Now the starch and the sugars from the pasta and the fibre and all that, woo, adds to the flavour. Now this, if you go to a restaurant, they'll charge you, I don't know, what do they charge for pasta? I don't really buy it, I make it myself. But beautiful. Let that simmer for another 5 minutes and it'll be ready to go. And for tonight's pasta, I'm using penny, but you can use whatever pasta you like, really. Alrighty, so we've mixed our pasta sauce in with our pasta. Time to sprinkle some of that lovely Parmesan cheese, freshly grated. I love Parmesan cheese. Probably no good for me, it's gonna leave me bloated. Adds on the extra calories, but it's got to enjoy life every now and then. But there you have it, a wonderful traditional bolognese made from scratch. Let me know if you like the recipe. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and let's get teaching everyone how to make home cooked meals. Take care and see you in the next video.